how does the frequent, occurrence of gun violence in American schools affect
Well,
students?
it's really affecting them, obviously, the trauma of the incidents, but also it's not limited to the students who unfortunately become victims of these school shootings. We got to remember in the thousands of elementary schools across this country, kids are going through drills on how to deal with mass shooting incidents. And, if someone unauthorized comes into the school building. So it has a massive effect because even kids and children that haven't been directly affected by incidents are from that preparation. And from the horrible incident that we saw here recently in the United States, one of the children that survived mentioned just that they were now afraid to go to school and that was actually more on their mind than their school. So that is a very big problem and it affects every child in this country.
The youngest shooter was 6 years old who shot his classmate. How come, minors get into the possession of guns and how are kids targeted?
Well, I don't know necessarily, especially kids at that age, if they're targeted, but what we do have in this country is a proliferation of guns that are available. So, as we talk about older shooters, there are obviously issues of, what are the legal age limits in certain states. But when you talk about really young children where that's not even an issue, it's accessibility. And they live in homes where guns are available. And so I think that is what's fueling it. It's not that they're being targeted, but that guns are just so readily available.
American teenagers are born with this, gun culture. They're not unfamiliar with all these gun violence and hate crimes. How does this, affect their perception of gun ownership? Will some of them, imitate this kind of behaviors?
Well, I think what you're seeing, unfortunately, in a lot of places in this country, is you have teenagers that, whether they may be dealing with emotional issues, mental health issues, or just the difficulties of being a teenager, which that happens everywhere around the world, not just limited to the United States. The difference is that when they are looking for solutions to this, they're obviously bad solutions, and violence, particularly gun violence, is a bad solution. And the reason that they're looking towards it is because it's more accessible. And yes, there's violence in our culture with movies and TVs and games. I personally don't believe that is what's really driving it. What's driving it is the accessibility and ease of getting these guns for a solution if there's a dispute with a classmate or if someone's dealing with mental health issues. So I don't really think it's the culture that they're growing up into. It's just the easiest, most accessible thing for them to respond.
And how strong is the correlation between racially motivated hate crimes and the increase of gun violence?
I think in the United States, those are two separate issues, but they're linked. We do have a shocking rise in hate crimes, particularly racially motivated hate crimes in this country. And alongside of that, we have the proliferation of arms. I don't think one is fueling the other, but what I do believe is that those people who do perpetrate these hate crimes, like same thing with the children, what's the easiest solution for them if they are wanting to commit a hate crime or if they want to make a statement against a particular group of people? Arms are accessible, and that's the way that they look to solve the problem as they see it. Because what I think is, if, say, for example, we solved the gun proliferation problem in this country, that wouldn't solve the hate crime issue and vice versa. But I think that both of them are increasing and they're feeding off of each other.